a death penalty case that I tried as a district attorney. I argued that case before the United States Supreme Court and won 8-0. That guy's still on death row and we're still fighting. I was in court in Union County on that case not long ago. So my experience and background has been as a prosecutor. I know what DAs do. I know how to work with district attorneys. That's what I've done as Attorney General. Many of the DAs are the front line and they've supported me. But we prosecute cases, all sorts of cases. Everything from just a regular DUI where there's a recusal to a DUI death to a murder case. We handle those type cases out of the Attorney General's office, and we work with the federal government. Our office often works with the federal government on human trafficking issues, with child pornography issues. We work very closely with other agencies, and we do it every day. And the good thing about the Attorney General's office, as I stand here right now, I was in the cybercrime lab yesterday. I know that somebody in that office is standing there today looking at a cell phone to try to find some evidence. Maybe it's a murder case, maybe it's a rape, maybe it's an armed robbery, maybe it's a child porn case. But we have people in our office working every day, knocking on doors, arresting people for downloading child pornography. I know there's somebody, in our office, like yesterday, filed a motion in a death penalty case, the longest serving convict on death row. We filed a motion for an execution in his case. I know there's somebody in our office that is representing the Department of Human Services to try to protect a child that has been neglected or abused. And I know that there's somebody in our office fighting for a victim. The Victims' Compensation Division was moved to our office. I worked with Governor Barber long ago to do that. I know there's somebody in our office, as we speak, running around trying to get receipts to get a victim enough money so that they can pay that much rent. They may have lost a family member. Those people in our office fight for you every day. I know that some lawyers in our office are in a courtroom today fighting a fleet of lawyers from large law firms that represent huge corporations. We do everything from regular law enforcement type stuff to dealing with issues with corporations like BP. We recently recovered $2.2 billion from BP. That was a long, protracted battle. Thank you. Just yesterday, we announced that the cities and the counties had recovered $35.8 million. We told the BP we weren't going to settle our state's case until they also took care of our communities and our local governments and our schools and so forth. So, when you go up against battle against these type of companies, you have to be prepared and you have to have experience to do that. We face so many issues out there with the internet. A couple of days ago, my little daughter comes to me. She's 12 years old. She said, "Daddy, somebody's taken over my phone. They sent a message on Instagram over to one of my buddies." Those are kind of things that scare me to death. That's what scares me for our children, especially our young girls, and all the trouble that they're facing with the internet and our families. And that affects rich, poor, young, old. That affects us all. And it's been one of my primary areas of concentration to try to fight for those kids and try to protect them from all the dangers on the internet. And our cybercrime unit is also having to gear up to deal with hackers and data breach and all those other issues that we're going to face for the next 10 years. It'll be a moving target. It's a running battle to try to protect our families from all the issues that we have to address that are pouring at us from over the internet. Let me give you an example of a company that is, a lot of conspiracy theorists think the federal government is Big Brother. There's a company called Google that knows more about you than any other company or any government in this world. Yesterday they issued a press release, and they duped one of the local newspapers into putting their press release, their statement. Google tried to say that we smeared them somehow. I worked with that company for about 3 years, and it wasn't just Jim Hood. It was 23 attorneys general signed letters saying, "Hey, Google, you got to stop what you're doing. You're assisting people for selling drugs online." Our investigators, after Google pled guilty and got a non-prosecution agreement with the federal government, they wrote a $500 million check. They were on probation for 2 years. The company we use every day that's on your phone, we kind of trust, we don't really understand. Surely that company's not helping drug dealers, And what we're trying to do was trying to get them to pay attention to what was going on their sites. But the problem is they knew that because they pled guilty to it. And guess what after that? Our investigators went undercover. They bought online. They bought, they had to buy prescription drugs without a prescription. And our investigators bought it without a prescription, painkillers, Oxycontin, all kind of drugs. Can you believe that? That people, your kids can sit in their homes and buy that. That's what people couldn't believe, and what we were trying to do by working with like pharmaceutical companies and other companies out there is to try to get somebody like 60 Minutes, somebody in the media to pay attention, to say, wait a minute, you know, if a company was helping drug dealers and advertising in the margin, if they had that in the clearing ledger, somebody advertising, come buy prostitutes, advertising for human trafficking, come buy fake IDs, come buy drugs, we would put them in jail. So how can that be that a company can do it online? Well, that's why they came to Mississippi to sue us, trying to talk about smear tactics and all those things. That's exactly what they're doing. Now, how does it affect us? What does our Attorney General do in fighting a worldwide corporation that has more net worth than the income of the state of California, Texas, Pennsylvania, and New York combined? Annually, income from those states. It's huge. How does that affect us? Let me tell you how it affected me and in my office. There was a young veteran that served 2 tours of duty in Iraq. He had 2 of his best friends in the Jeep with him that were killed. He had his shoulder blown up. He got put on painkillers to try to help him get through that. He came back after 2 tours of duty, and he had PSTD. He had problems with it. He couldn't get any more painkillers from the doctors, so he got on heroin. After about a year, he got off of it. He got his life straight, and he went to law school. He came to Mississippi to go to law school. He got married, he just had a baby. I started him as an intern in our office. I knew his daddy, a medical doctor. That young man, I guess the stress from law school caused him to get back on heroin. We searched his computer and we found that he went on Google looking for H. He was looking for heroin. In our search of the internet, we don't know yet whether he bought it, but he went on Google looking for it. He overdosed. He died with a young baby. That's how it affects us in Mississippi. As Attorney General, you got to fight out there on a level, a playing field where you've got to have the experience and the tenacity to hold big corporations. You got to hold them accountable. And that's what I've done as Attorney General. We've recovered almost $3 billion for the taxpayers of the state of Mississippi. That didn't come easy. That came from the blood, sweat, and tears of a lot of people that work in our office. I've stayed awake a lot of nights trying to deal with a lot of these companies and holding them accountable just like you and I are held accountable. If they come to Mississippi and they take advantage of our consumers, take advantage of our elderly, take advantage of our children, I'm going to be there to fight for them, and they know that. So in this election, you're going to see their money pour into this state. I just hope you remember what many of you have told me, even some that identify as conservative commentators. I was talking to JT up there on the radio a minute ago. I've heard on good information that he said, the only thing wrong with Jim Hood is he's a Democrat, you know? But there's a lot of Republicans, there's a lot of people that have supported me. I thank you for that. You put your faith in me. I hope I've upheld it, and I hope I'm entitled to another 4 years, and God bless you. I hope you will help Jim Hood be elected Attorney General for 4 more years. Thank you. God bless you.